Hello everyone! Welcome to your Tuesday Pilates class. So let's get started in our second series for scap mobility and shoulder strength. Today we're going to use a foam roller and some hand weights, and if you don't have either one of the two you can substitute with other objects. But using the roller, especially the long roller, you're really going to notice it today. So if you've got one of those, that's great. If you don't, you can try to put a pillow or something under your back, but it's actually definitely going to work better with the foam roller. Anyway, let's just get going. So standing with your feet right underneath your pelvis, so two hip joints there, standing up as tall as we can. Nice big breath in, and let's hit that timer. Let's roll down, breathing in at the floor and rolling up. Nice big breath in and rolling down. Nice and smooth, tummy to spine. Restacking those bones. And last one. Up we come. You want to slide your shoulder blades down your back. Taking the arms out to the side. Let's move straight into some side bends. If you're feeling quite tight this afternoon, maybe just taking it easy for the first few, especially if you've been sitting down all day. And as you warm up, you can start to move a little bit more with a little bit of a increased range. And hopefully starting to loosen up a bit now, making sure that we do focus on the placement of those shoulders, given that this class has a shoulder focus. So slide the scaps down towards your back pocket. Think about kind of externally rotating your shoulders just to set them in the nice, strong position. Keeping the hips right on top of the knees and ankles. Let's make the next one we do the last one to each side. And then, of course, moving straight into our rotations as we always do. Palms to face the ceiling, bend those knees. Let's move into a double twist. Back through center, double twist. And we'll keep going with this, just keeping the knees heading straight out over the toes, not towards each other, not out to the side. Working on isolating the top half of your body from the bottom half. Oh, hitting that wall again. Nice. Let's make the next one the last one. Great. Taking the arms out to the side, palms facing the floor, setting those shoulders down, pulling up the kneecaps, contracting the quads, all the good things, rising up and then lower down. Rising up right onto the tippy toes, lowering down, keeping the weight forward. That's it. We want the ankles to be nice and strong. We don't want this wobbly ankle syndrome happening. Let's hold at the top. We're going to take the arms up above our head, and we're going to see if we can add some rotation. I'm going to step back a little bit so you can see better. Some rotations of the shoulders. So we're going to twist towards the back arm. Both arms are going to head down. Twist again around to the back arm as both arms come up. So coordinating those arms, both arms going down, twisting, both arms coming up. So if you do have sore shoulders and this range of motion is just too much, there are a couple of things you can do. You can just stop at there and head back the other way like so. But what we want to avoid is pushing your range beyond what you're capable of. So you don't want to get to there and then have to shrug the shoulders and do all these weird things. Just moving within your range and slowly building up the strength. So whatever it is that you're capable of, we'll continue with that. Just finishing the one you're on, coming back to center, lowering those heels and giving the legs a bit of a shake. Nice, taking the feet nice and wide. Just gonna get our lower half of our body stretched out and nice and warm. So let's just leave the hands on the hips for now. We're gonna bend the knees, are gonna go out over the toes, so we're getting a nice little stretch. You can have your hands on your knees. We're gonna lean forward a little bit, just gently pressing those knees back. Try to avoid shrugging the shoulders here. And we'll continue just to wobble side to side a little bit. You can slide your forearms down onto your knees if you're capable of that with your flexibility, or just keep wobbling side to side. Good. It's a nice thing to do if you've been sitting down at a desk all day, opening up those hips. Good, also warming up the quads. Let's try and lift our chest up a little higher. That's it, really push your elbows now into your knees, into your thighs, and that will start to activate the muscles around the shoulder blades. Good. All right, so we're gonna come up a little bit higher. Leave the hands on the hips. Let's make sure the chest at the back is nice and straight, and we're just gonna do some pulses here now. So keep the core nice and strong. That's it, so definitely feeling some heat in those legs now. Make sure you're not leaning forward from the hips. If you're not quite flexible enough to get down that low, just come up a little bit higher so that it's possible for you to keep your back up. Good. Now we're coming down. This time we're not resting on our legs, so it's going to be a little bit harder to sway side to side. We want to really start to feel the burn in those legs. Woo-hoo. Good afternoon, quads. And then let's pick a side, doesn't matter which side, but we're going to turn around and sink into a bit of a hip flexor stretch here. So the idea is we get our leg quite far back on the mat, just lifting the chest up, feeling that stretch down the front of your hip flexor. You can take your arm up, maybe a little mini back bend here. Maybe a little slight lean over to the side to increase the stretch there. And let's recover. So we're just going to try and keep our legs bent throughout this transition to keep the activation in the quads. And swapping to the other side now. Whew, feeling that nice stretch out of the hip flexors, taking your back arm up. Maybe a little mini back bend. And a slight lean over. And we're so close to the floor now, so we're actually going to come all the way down. So if you just lower that back knee, and here we are already on the floor. Okay, so we're going to get straight into some stuff with the hand weights. So we might grab them. So we'll do a little bit of a series with the hand weights, and then we'll add the foam roller into the equation. So got the hand weights, heading down to the mat. It's taking the arms straight up into the air. So remember, you can substitute hand weights with water bottles or anything that's got a bit of weight in it, really. Let's set those shoulders down. So it's really, really important now that we just focus on the placement of our shoulders. So we're going to start with small movements, and we're just going to take the weights down towards the knees and then back up just to 90 degrees. So let's think about our core as well, like we have that corset wrapped around our middle, pulling into our spine. We've got that small gap underneath our back, so this feels nice and easy. We're going to increase our range bit by bit now. So let's start to take the arms a little bit further back. Notice how our core has to work a little harder, and also that our upper back wants to lift up off the ground. So with each one we go a little bit further back, and you'll start to notice your own limit. So might be there where you think, oh yeah, I'm not sure about going any further than this, and your upper back wants to lift up off the ground. So we'll just keep control of the ribs. Maybe you have nice, strong, mobile shoulders already. Good for you. But we still want to think about good technique so that you don't end up injuring yourself, because a shoulder injury takes forever to get better. So our shoulders are pretty different to our hip joints. They're the same kind of joint, but obviously with our hip joints, we've got all that muscular support around them. With the shoulders, we have much, much less. So that's why they get injured, and they get injured more easily, because it just doesn't have the musculature support that our hip joints have. So now I'm pretty much at my max range. If you're going all the way to the floor, good for you, but remember just to stop where it works for you. All right, last one was that one we just did. Hands pointing up to the roof. Let's take them out to the side. You can go all the way to the floor if you think you can control it. If you get any pain, just sort of come to whatever position works. So bearing in mind, we're going to do all this on the foam roller. It's going to feel different. I actually really love the way it feels. Even when you're not rehabbing your shoulder, it's just a nice exercise to do, and it's going to double as a nice balance challenge, because there's a lot of balancing that goes on when you start lying on things that are unstable. So lots of challenges to come in class today. Okay, so we're going to do one of each. So we'll go out and in, behind, and up. Keep that core nice and strong. Out and in, behind, and up. Out and in, behind, and up. Couple more just like that. Out and in, behind, and up. Let's split the arms. So we go one forward, one back, and then we'll go out to the side. Then we go the other way with the arms. Scissor the opposite direction, one forward, one back, together, out, and in. Keep alternating directions for the scissor. Up, out, and in. So if you've got 1.5 kilo or above, you're probably starting to feel something going on in your chest, in your arm muscles. That's good. If your weights are a little lighter than that, it might take you a few more reps. This is the last one. And out, in. Good. Let's place the weights down by our side. You can leave your hands just resting lightly on them, or you can push them out of the way and have your hands resting on the floor, your choice. We're going to pelvic curl, so rolling up, rolling down, back to neutral, breathing in, rolling up, healing your spine up, bone by bone, breathing in at the top, rolling down. Lovely. Nice and smooth, as we always do. I'm definitely not pressing down too harshly into those weights there at all. Literally just resting my hands on them. We're going to pick them up again shortly. Just giving you a little bit of a break. And we're going to hold at the top of this next bridge. And from here, one leg up, place it down. Other side, place it down. That's the way. Place it down, getting those hamstrings and glutes nice and warm. My hammies are, I couldn't work out why, a little bit sore, but that's because of that fitball class we did yesterday morning. Oh, I always get sore hamstrings using that fitball. Love it and hate it all at the same time. Okay, 2 more to each side. Let's try not to let the hips sag any closer to the floor. Last one. And then both feet down Even up your bridge. Rolling down, leaving that lower back attached to the floor. We're going to float the knees into tabletop. At the moment, my legs are slightly apart because we want to go straight into some toe taps. Flattening out your tummies, attaching your whole spine to the floor as much as we can. Starting to warm up those lower abs. So in this class, I'm steering clear of chest lifts because a lot of the time when we're trying to focus on our shoulders and we're lifting the chest, all we can do is think about our abdominals and forget about our shoulders. So today in class we won't be doing upper abdominal chest lifts, roll-ups, that sort of thing, but we'll do plenty for our lower abs. And as you know, there's lots of ways you can work your abs without chest lifts, and it's really great for the shoulders, just to give them a break. All that chest lifting a break sometimes. Let's squeeze those knees together, reattach the spine to the floor, 2 feet at the same time, tap and lift. Keep pulling that lower tummy closer and closer to the floor. Try not to grip your hands on the weights or the mat. In fact, let's take our arms up so we can't. Again, slide the shoulders down towards your back pockets, your imaginary back pockets. Nice. So we're going to keep the legs going. We're going to go and pick up those weights. And we're going to bring the arms back up here. Okay, so we're going to take the weights carefully back, not all the way. Back and lift. Now out to the side as we tap and back where we started. Behind and up, out to the side and up. So we already did this combination, so shouldn't feel too foreign in our bodies. If your shoulders are feeling fine, of course, you can increase the range with your arms. That's the way. Hopefully we're all coping with this lower abdominal focus. How about we make this one the last one? And then give our lower backs a little bit of a break. Take the weights down to the floor. Take the feet down to the floor as well. Shuffle the feet to the outside edge of your mat. Just get the weights out of the way. And just windscreen wiper those knees side to side. And I think we're going to move into, oh, I've got tight quads, into the stuff with the foam roller. So let's come up to sitting. We want to have our weights already set, so one on either side, just because once we're on top of the roller, we don't really want to get back up again. All right, so set your roller right down the middle of your mat. You're going to sit at the end. This is definitely the easiest way that I have figured out, the most graceful way how to get onto a roller like this. So sit very close to the end, and then you're just going to lower yourself down. We want to make sure the head is supported by the roller. So this is what I mean about having a long roller. If you do just have a half one, you can still do it. You'll just have your butt resting on the floor. So maybe you want to elevate your butt with some pillows or towels or whatever you've got around the place. But the most important thing is to have your head supported. And our weights are right there. We don't have to get up and move them. So we'll just leave them on the floor for the moment. I feel crooked. See what I mean? You want to get it straight. Okay, so neutral spine, small gap under the lower back. Take your arms straight up to the roof. And you can feel, I want you to set your shoulder blades down and kind of try and wrap them around the roller. So you're giving them a nice little squeeze, and then reach your fingertips up to the roof. Slide the shoulder blades around the roller. Now widen them as you reach your arms, your fingertips up to the roof. Slide them down. So all this is Scap Slides, and we did this last week, I think. Whenever we did the last class of this series, the first class of this series, was sliding our scaps. I think we were using the TheraBand. So it's the same idea. You're widening your scaps around the rib cage, and then you're sliding them close together, in this case wrapping them around the roller. So reach up and down. So this is a mobility section. If you don't feel like you have much movement, you want to avoid shrugging your shoulders. So nothing up around the ears. Let's try and keep it all horizontal. Good. Now let's set those shoulders kind of halfway down, so not completely wrapping around the roller and not reaching up to the ceiling halfway. Turn the palms to face the knees. Take the arms back. Feel free now, if you've got the mobility in your shoulders, to take your hands all the way to the floor. It's actually quite a nice stretch, but let's avoid lifting the back up. And then bringing your hands forward. So taking the arms back, don't lose control of those ribs, and bring them forward. Nice. So we are going to get the weights involved with this. We're definitely not going to take the weights all the way back to the floor. This is just for our own mobility. Once we have the weights, our range will be much smaller. But before we even get to that, we're going to do some balance. So we'll finish off this nice little series here. Let's take the elbows down to the floor. If you've got that range, you can rest them on to the floor there. We're going to carefully fold the arms back. I love this stretch. Don't give yourself a hard time if the backs of your arms aren't lying on the ground. Maybe you're just to there, maybe you're there, whatever it is, that's what you want. Not doing anything like this, not sticking the ribs up. And now we're going to fold the hands forward, internally rotating the shoulders. External, internal. Nice. I just love doing this. Again, this is not really one we do at this range with weights, unless they're really light. This is just something that we can do for our shoulders with no weights. That's a really nice stretch across your chest. And from here, if you like, you can slide your arms all the way up and slide them down. So these are just options, just for loosening up the shoulders, just working to your own level. I think I'm also feeling a bit tight in my pecs. Must have been from the planking we did on that fit ball yesterday. That ball has a lot to answer for every time. All right, balance time. So we're going to take our hands back down onto the mat. Just move the weights out of the way if they're annoying. Okay, so pressing that lower back down into the mat, because we're going to take a leg and maybe two off here. So let's just hold here, see how we feel. If you think you're okay, we're going to lift the other one up to meet it. For me, it's easier to squeeze my knees together. I feel safer here. And we're just going to hang out. Don't worry, we're not going to lift our arms off the ground, but we might come up onto our fingertips just to see how that goes. It's so interesting. Try and keep looking just straight up at the roof. But if you did turn your head to the side, so look at me, you noticed a shift in your balance. So that's happening to me a lot as I look at you talking, or not that I'm seeing you, but looking at the camera here. So we're going to try and take one arm up. You know what? If you fall, it's not that far. You're going to be okay. And just holding here. Place that hand down. Let's try for the other side. That's it. Ooh, a bit more unstable on this side. Really try and attach those lower vertebrae into the roller. Both hands down now. We're going to start moving the legs. So stretching one leg and then the other. So some work for our lower abs, for our hip flexors. It's harder than it looks, as I'm sure you're figuring out. But so interesting just to see how your body is. And if you do this regularly, it actually is different each time. But for me, there seems to be no consistency with which side I wobble to more. Okay, maybe taking the leg a little lower down to the mat. I told you you could still get a good ab workout without chest lifts. Whew. For many of us, our lower abs are much weaker than our upper abs, so it's quite interesting just to leave out that sometimes. Let's go one more each side. And then we're going to place both feet down one at a time onto the mat, and we can relax for a hot second. Okay, grab those weights. We're going to leave the feet down just for the moment. And just be careful how you take your weights straight up to the roof. For me, I think just leaving the elbows on the mat, bending your arms like so, and then taking them up is the easiest way, the nicest way for the shoulders. Okay, and now we're going to go for those scap slides. So wrap the shoulder blades around the roller and then push the weights up to the roof. Wrap the shoulder blades around, push them up. Avoid sliding the shoulders towards your ears. Nice work, everyone. Hope we're all coping. That's it. We won't do as many as we did without the roller. We've already done heaps for our shoulders. I do want to get some other stuff done today. So let's now move into, I guess you would call them some bench presses with extremely light weights. So we're going to come down like so. You can take your elbows all the way to the floor if you want, and you're going to press up. So we're going to take the arms down, press up. And just notice how the roller moves. Are you pushing equally with both arms? Or what happens when you push a little bit more with one? Obviously you're going to wobble more. So really try and work those arms together. You can move quickly on the push up and maybe slowly on the way down. See what happens, and then you can reverse that, so you can move slowly on the way up and quickly on the way down. You can play around with this exercise, whatever makes you happy. All right, next exercise, going back to that one we did at the start. So nice and carefully with a smaller range, keep those shoulders down. We take the arms behind. Stop when you think you're getting towards the end of your range. Back to the roof, palms together, open up, doesn't have to be to the floor, together. Behind on the inhale, exhale as we come forward, inhale we open, and exhale, arms come together. Keep control of those ribs, control of the shoulders. So after this series, we'll go back to a little bit more balance, and we'll probably leave it at that for the shoulders and just get into a few other things. You know what, I can hear my dog racing around downstairs, barking and carrying on, I hope. I don't know what's going on, I'm just trying to ignore it. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Oh dear. I've taken her for a walk, she's had her food, so she should be nice and quiet now. Last one, maybe my husband's getting home. Last one. And then we'll place the weights down onto the floor. Let's take both arms up, set those shoulders down. Let's try and just lift one leg. So your choice, I'm gonna go with my back leg. So I'm gonna peel it up nice and carefully. Seeing if I can hold here, one leg in the air, two arms in the air. Maybe you want to pop your arms back down, see how you feel. And then we're going to see if we can move this leg around. So I'm going to straighten it out, tap my heel on the floor, pull it back in. Straighten it out, tap the floor, pull it back in. So lots of control required for your core. That's it, just working the abs in a different way. It doesn't always have to be a massive burn. And this is targeting kind of more like our deep stabilizers, where, you know, the chest lifts and the crisscrosses and all of that, they're sort of more focused on the superficial abs, even though we do use our deep core muscles. This is definitely one for the deeper ones. And we're going to swap. So place that leg down. Find your balance. Slowly taking the other one up. Take a few seconds to just feel what's going on. When you're ready, you can start moving that leg around. Maybe you want to leave a hand on the floor. Yes. Nice. I hope we're all coping here. Let's just do a couple more. And then both feet down, arms down. Finally, just have a little bit of a wriggle around. So I'm just going to push the weights out of the way. And the easiest way to get off the roller, if you ask me, is just to slide onto the floor, and you can just push that roller to the side. If we go back on your mat, and we're just going to bring the knees in to the chest, give ourselves a little bit of a cuddle. Just have a second and really feeling heavy into the mat, because our shoulders, they're going to feel different now. So maybe just move the arms around, and even the back of your pelvis is going to feel different after all of that. Okay, cool. So we're going to turn all the way over onto our, we're going to keep using this roller. Where are we going to use it? We're going to use it at the bottom of the mat. And we're going to place the elbows down onto the floor. So if you dare, you're going to place your feet like so. So I've got the roller underneath my ankles, definitely not underneath my feet. I might actually move my shoulders forward. All right, so you can see I'm not quite in a full plank position, but what I'm going to do just to prep myself is press my pelvis forward and then send it back. So I'm also moving through my shoulders nice and carefully. So knees will stay on the ground. It's going to be harder once we lift the knees up, obviously. But as this is a shoulder focus class, let's keep them down away from the ears. That's it. Feel like you're still wearing that corset around your middle. And then if you think you're ready, we're going to lift up into a plank. So make sure you're not going to slip. Maybe one knee, then the other knee, and we're balancing on the roller. Of course, if you don't want to use the roller, just move it out of the way and just do your normal plank with your feet on the mat. Squeezing those glutes, protect the lower back. It's just so much harder with the roller, isn't it? Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees in. So only if you want to move with me on this next one, because it's a little bit more challenging, you can stick with what we were doing. We're going to do some bunny hops. So we need to find our plank position. We're going to lift the hips up, bring the knees in, back down to a plank. Lift the hips up, pull the knees in, back down to a plank. Can we do 5 more? 5, 4, shoulders down. 3, we can do it. 2, and 1, and knees down. Sitting back and just calming down after that. Nice. We give our shoulders a little bit of a stretch so we can get rid of that roller for the minute. Just taking our arm up and sliding it down. We're going to rest on the ground here. So sticking your butt up to the roof, pushing into the floor with this front hand. Stacking your shoulders one on top of the other. Watch that you're not shrugging, elevating. Let's unwind, and we'll do the same to the other side. So reaching up, I'm going to slide
down. Try and get a little bit comfortable in this strange position, sticking your hips up to the roof, starting to push into the mat with that other hand, stacking your shoulders one on top of the other. And then we'll come all the way back up. Nice little rotation. And down. Good seeing as we're here. Let's move into a nice cat-cow stretch for our back. So we're going to round the lower back, pull those lower abs in as much as we can. We allow the top half of the body to follow. Coming back through neutral here, keeping the lower half of the body stable for the first part as we lift our sternum up to the roof, and then we allow the lower back to follow back to neutral. So lower half of the body, pull the tummy in, round the spine, back to neutral. Top half, sternum lifts, and then the lower back follows. So we're just moving through this nice full extension for our backs. That's it. I can still hear my dog jumping around down there. Oh God. We'll have to go and sort it out at the end of class here. So we're nearly there anyway. So let's gonna turn over onto our hips like so. So the couple of ways you can support yourself here, you can have your hands pointing towards your toes, which is quite hectic on the wrists. You can turn your hands around, you can go the other way. You can turn your hands out to the side, or you can be up on your wrists. So whatever works for you. I'm going to do this way to start, and then we'll see how we go. Okay, so very easy to forget about the shoulders. So push down into the floor. That part is an exercise within itself. This is hard, by the way, so hope you're ready. We're just going to start to lift up into a reverse bridge, looking down at your toes. Don't hyperextend those elbows. We want a small, soft bend in the elbows. And let's lower down, but watch that we don't elevate the shoulders. Got a foot cramp there, that's nice. Lifting up. Push that floor away. And slowly down, but don't let the shoulders creep up around the ears. And we're going again. Lift. And lower. Good. This time we're going to try a leg lift. So up we come. Keep those shoulders down. Lift a leg. Doesn't have to be high. Lower. Try the other. And lower. And again, watch those shoulders. Other side. And let's have a rest. And we're going to do that one last time. We're nearly there. Okay, make sure those shoulders are away from the ears. Up we go. Holding this reverse plank. 2 leg lifts each side. Up, hold, and lower. Other side. Up, hold, and lower. Watch the elbows, watch the shoulders. Last one. Up, hold, and lower. Last one. Up, hold, and lower. We did it. Give the wrists a bit of a roll. Maybe you just want to flop forward for a second, and then we're going to make our way up onto our feet because we've gotten through this class. So try not to use your hands, however it is that you want to stand up. And here we are, ready to do those roll downs. So placing the feet flat on the mat, standing as tall as we can. Nice big breath in, rolling down. Breathing in at the floor, rolling up. 2 more times. Just noticing all the things that you feel. So we didn't do a whole lot for our lower body, but we did a little bit at the beginning, a little bit of bridging, and of course,
fair amount for our lower abs. Rolling up. And we're all done. Yay. Thanks everyone. I hope you had a great class, learned a few things. Bye.